Breaking news out of CES 2014, folks. PlayStation Now is a thing. I'm Chris Waters here with Sean McInnes. Talk about PlayStation Now. Sony's making good on their promise to stream old PlayStation games.
Yeah, a few years ago they bought Gaikai for about $380 million. Gaikai, obviously a streaming game service that was competing with OnLive at the time, and everybody's been wondering since then, what are they going to do for PlayStation games?
What has Sony got? Why did they get them? They've been hiding them away until last February. They mentioned streaming old games in the PlayStation catalog as sort of a way to cover their backwards compatibility. And here it is. PlayStation 3 games, PlayStation 2 games, and PlayStation 1 games streamable through PlayStation Now to the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3 to start. Then the PlayStation Vita, Sony Bravia TVs, manufactured for 2014.
The newest models, yeah.
And then later on, internet-connected devices, presumably some kind of tablets, mobiles, etc.
Right, and this is different from the retro games available on PS3 and Vita, which uses emulation to play PS1 classics. Obviously, PlayStation 4 doesn't do PS1 classics. That whole back catalog is gone, and so this is Sony's way of sort of reviving it and adding the PS2 and PS3 games as well, which is a nice addition.
It's nice that we're going to get to play that back catalog, but unlike the classics, which you can purchase outright from the PlayStation Store, PlayStation Now is looking to be only a renting service so far. They've announced two ways you can get it, renting on a title-by-title basis or renting on a subscription basis that gives you access to an unspecified number of games in their catalog.
Yeah, and they're not announcing any firm pricing details at the moment. And the other thing they're not talking about is whether or not there's any integration with this service and PlayStation Plus, which leads us to believe that it's not a part of PlayStation Plus. Because if it was, you better believe they would be announcing that to the high heavens, because any reason for Sony to sell more PlayStation Plus subscriptions, they want to jump on right aww.
They love to mention their PlayStation Plus. It's a good service, but seemingly no connection between PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now as of yet. One feature that does that both share is cross-save. So when you're playing a title through PlayStation Now on your Vita, then you go to play it on your Bravia TV or your PlayStation 3 or 4, your save is going to continue across all of those, which is a nice little bit of continuity. And also worth mentioning, the Vita seems it's only going to be Wi-Fi streaming, so anyone 3Ging it up on their Vita,
it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. But no word yet on what titles will be available for PS Now at launch, and no hard launch dates yet, but they do have some stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, Sony is hoping to get this service launched in the US by the end of summer 2014, and they are planning on a closed beta later this month. However, there are some caveats there.
Yeah, this stuff is US only, and Sony hasn't mentioned any other territories, and in the past they've discussed the difficulties of doing this kind of streaming service to regions without a lot of broadband coverage, which is a bunch of the world and also a bunch of the US. So I guess we're going to see what kind of requirements it's going to take and what territories they're going to have in mind. Hopefully more announcements on that as the year progresses.
And speaking of further announcements, Sony did have a bit more information at the CES press conference. Turns out they sold 4.2 million PlayStation 4 units, which is pretty good so far, especially considering the competition.
3.0 million Xbox One sold. So in the units sold, it looks like Sony is doing quite well for themselves, and I wouldn't wonder if PS Now makes things a little more attractive for folks.
Yeah, I mean, that and the $100 price difference, you're kind of seeing it in the math right now.
Absolutely. For more from these press conferences from CES 2014, stay tuned to GameSpot and follow us on Twitter at GameSpot. I'm Chris Waters for Sean McInnes saying thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.